Oh, guess not.
Okay.
Oh, he's got to teach me that trick.
Okay. All righty. So we're here today to talk about the new CSS grid container, which is new for Elementor 3.13. And there's betas for 3.14, I think. But this is where the grid containers showed up. And we're going to try to show just different ways in which it can be used. I'm going to do an intro into just the basics of CSS grid, and then we'll do a custom layout with showing you how you can span columns and then how to deal with that for mobile. And then we'll also we'll build on that by taking the same kind of setup, but then we'll add a loop grid post in there too. So, and I'll show you how you can put all kinds of stuff, mix and match. It's pretty flexible. So I'm going to go to, let's see here. Let me go to this page. And gonna edit this, add Elementor. And I'm going to just delete everything I've got in here, and we'll start from scratch. Okay, so there's two methods to start working with the CSS grid. You can just drag a container over and tell it to be, because the default, as you can see here, is Flexbox. You can make it a grid, and it has default things. It gives you, 2 rows, 3 columns. Or you can do it from here, and you have the choice of putting a Flexbox container or a grid container. You do the grid container, then you can choose you got some options on styling or grid structure. So I'm going to choose that one. And then we see here we got 1 column with 3 rows. So I'm going to make it 3 columns, 3 rows. And so simple as that. Just 3 columns, 3 rows. And I think I'm going to take it back down to 2 for a second. Then something I want to point out too is we see here, see grid lines show or not show. And this will come into play, is important because you're going to be tempted to think that you can drop widgets into any one of these boxes, but you can't. You can only put them into ones that have a plus on them. So we'll, and that'll come up again here in a second. And then we turn it off. See, that's the only thing that shows, but I'm going to show it. And in other words, you can only do it. It's the next available space. You'll see in a second, once we start filling up some of these, that the container that's next available will have the plus sign in it. So I'm going to add a widget. Oh, by the way, this is with the new top bar, editor top bar, and it's still I'm such a creature of habit. I keep looking for the stuff that this does in other places. So kind of threw me for a little bit of a walk here. So I set up a global widget to start with to save some time. I'm going to unlink it. And I'm going to do, and you can, now you see we have this container is available now. So I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to duplicate it. I'm on a Mac. So I hit Command D. I think on a PC you hit Control D. So I'm going to do that. And we can keep going if we want. And let's see. And if we wanted to, so we can't add anything over here, only in here. It's always the next container. So we look at the navigator. What did I just do? Oh, I don't want that. That was the settings. There's the navigator. You see here, we have one container and 3 items. It's only one container. Back in the day, to do this, we'd have to have what it'd be columns and sections, and it'd essentially be multiple containers, and there's really only one at this point. So this, you know, in the description of the meetup, we talked about it, building lean. This is part of the lean part. So we've done that. Okay, so I'm going to take this, duplicate it again and again, and we can, now that we've got a plus here, we can drag stuff over here. So I'm going to add a container there, and I'm going to make this a Flexbox container. So you can put a Flexbox container inside of CSS grid. So let's put an image here. Let's put maybe some text, and then let's put a button. Okay, so we can just slide that sucker over there, and see, this is all in the CSS grid. And then do it mobile. How easy is that? So, okay, so I'm going to delete this.
Gary, before you delete it, can you? Oh, sorry about that.
What you want, Brian?
Yeah, I wanted to see what it looked like in the navigator. I wanted you to pull up the navigator and let me.
Easy enough to do, no problem.
Control Z.
Sorry, I didn't understand you, Oscar.
Control Z, and you'll undo instead of creating it again.
Control Z or Command Z on a Mac.
Good answer. Okay, so let's look at the navigator. So now this container is inside that container.
Okay. Appreciate that, Gary. I just wanted to see what it looked like in the structure.
No problem.
Can you convert that inside container into a Flexbox a grid, a CSS grid?
I don't understand. I didn't quite understand you.
On the container layout, click on the container that is inside, the inside container.
Okay.
Okay. And the container layout is Flexbox. Can you make it another grid?
Can I make it a grid?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think
Then you can set up the number of rows for. Oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
But it appears, I'm sorry, it appears that you can only have one widget in each one of the cells of the grid. Because when you converted that Flexbox to CSS grid, it moved the image in one cell. Convert that.
Let's see what happens. We'll try it.
Well, I think it's because you changed it to CSS grid, so it turned it into a grid.
Yeah, it turned that into a grid, but it's if you add an.
Well, you see what happened here, Oscar? Let me do that again. If I try to add a widget in front of this, it's like adding a widget to that, except it puts it over here. So watch. So yeah, it's one widget per
Now, if you add, if that's is that a container or a grid?
This is a
So that's
grid
just a
cell.
widget.
This is a grid cell. Yeah. So if I were to try to add, what you're thinking is try to add something to this.
Yeah,
No, see, it's going to put it in
doesn't.
front of it. So that's a good
So in
question.
the CSS grid, you can only have one widget per cell of the grid.
First cell.
Pull the image underneath the header instead of to the side.
It won't go.
Go up underneath the text, See if it'll dock it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it won't. It looks like it's only giving you left or right as an option.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think that's an issue then.
Okay. So let's figure that. Okay.
It's in a grid, you should be able to add more than one element. That's not right.
Well, let's go to the
If you-
navigator and see.
Kerry, if you do one thing and to that empty cell, you add a container, you convert that to that container, you add an image, of text, and a header. Let's say for
Right.
just add three widgets, whatever.
Yeah, that's what we did before.
Yeah. Okay. But then after that, you convert the inside container to CSS grid. Look what is going to happen.
Oh, I think that's what we did before, but let's take a look. Okay, and so we've
Okay,
got
there you have it. Now convert that to a grid.
Just gonna grid out the whole box. Yeah.
No, it has the image in one cell, the text in the second widget in a second cell, and the button in a third cell.
Yeah, it looks like it turned that whole cell into a grid. So that's why it has the six.
Hey, you can only have one widget per cell.
Yeah, let's see what the
I'm curious, why did it affect the other 5?
because it's set up to have equal height.
Gotcha.
And
Thank you.
And this let's see. Well, I think this is inheriting this. Oh, I see what it is. Let's do this. I don't know if I can do this. Oh no, can't do that. I can only do it from I can't do it inside a. Let's see. I should be able to have it be. Oh, here we go. No, there may be a way, and it's not. I don't think this is finished, because some of the tutorials I've looked at, they're different from. I mean, like within the last 3 or 4 weeks, it behaves different than what I'm seeing today. So I don't think they're done with this. So we did the container with the image and text and button, and then going to please flex. So I'm going to go back here, select that. I'm going to fill in 9 squares. Okay. Now let's take a look at our container. You see, we have just one container that holds all these. And with CSS Grid, it introduces a new unit, a fraction, FR. If you can see that, it's FR, our fractional unit. I'm not sure if they've decided on what it's supposed to be called, if it's fraction or fractional unit, but that's what that is. So basically, for the columns, it's divided into 3 fractions, and the row, well, we started out as 2, but we can keep adding. So I'm going to go ahead and make it officially 3, and then we can affect the gaps. The default is 20. If I were, say I wanted to do 40, make the gaps 40. We can disconnect the gaps and rows and we can make them different. The row gaps 20, column gaps 40, so we have some flexibility there. I'm going to just get rid of these because the default is 20. And I'm going to take, just give me a second here. And to help illustrate this, I'm going to put, instead of the headings, I'm going to put numbers. Just a couple seconds here. Brian will hum a nice tune to keep you entertained until I get done. Or maybe not.
I have the worst singing voice known to humanity.
Doing this so to illustrate how things flow.
Should be a 5. Got 2 4s.
Yep, yep.
Oh,
Up needs to be there. It's always seems so simple when you're sitting here by yourself. Then when you get online, I guess that's just
Isn't that the truth, Carrie? I mean, it likes to embarrass us when we get everybody.
well, you
in the
know,
crowd.
I have done this and some other things like this for so long. I've gotten to almost to where I can't get embarrassed. I just, realize, hey, shit happens. So all right. So now we can see the numbering of what we got. Let's go back to the container, and you see the auto flow is set to row. So that means it's going to flow by rows. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, if I say auto flow to container, or excuse me, column, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you see these extra things over here? These are available to start adding other stuff too. But if we went back to rows, the reason I don't see them right now is because they're just hidden below here. But they're not, but it's not like that's going to take up any space. So if we just kind of expand it out, all those go away. So and let's.
so what is the purpose of the number of columns and the number of rows? If it's gonna continue adding,
Don't
by
know.
just defining the number of rows or the number of columns.
I don't know. I mean, you can predefine them to start out, but I don't know why. Because before, when we started out with 3 and 2, and I added those extra ones, it didn't change this. I don't know if that's a bug or I don't know. That's a good question to ask when we talk to Elementor developers. So let's put the gaps back. And we're good to go there. Okay. So showed you the auto flow. Then there's justify items and align items. We'll get to that later. Then we're going to go into the other ways that we can do this. Rather than fractions, we're going to go to custom. And we can go 1FR. Oh, I still got the, hang on a second. Let's move the pinch on this. Let me get the navigator up here. Columns, 3 rows. Go back to where I had it. Okay. Gaps. Actually, if I just do it, let me delete it. Oh well, just put 20. Okay, so what I want to do is change this to custom. And then I'm going to say recall, we're going to go 1 FR. Okay, so 1 fraction goes all the width. I go space 1 FR again. Now it's 2 columns. I go space 1 FR again. It's 3 columns, and I can keep going. I can also go 1 FR 2 FR and make it twice as. So this is 1/3, and this is 2/3, backing out the columns gaps and stuff. Or I can do.
What if you do the same for the rows?
Sorry.
What if you do the same for the rows? 1 FR, 2 FR on the columns and on the rows.
Well, we can get to that. I'm just showing you how the FRs and the different values work. And so then we could do this, and we could say we don't have to use FRs. We can go 50%. Or we don't have to do that. We could go 300 pixels. No good thing. Well, let's see what happens. We go here. So we go here. Go 1 FR. Any thoughts on this?
When you switch, you have to decide whether you're gonna do columns or rows.
Gotcha.
So you need to take the columns out and then put that in rows.
Doesn't seem to be doing anything. It might be because of the flow is rows. That if we went to columns, well, let's know that it makes a mess. So anyway, basically what I wanted to point, the point of showing that was that we have flexibility in combining things. You could have, 1 FR, 2 FR, that's 3 FR, 2 FR, and then 1 FR, and do like that. There has to be a space in between for it to work, as I'm told. And we're auto flow row. Let's see what happens to do columns. It does weird stuff. I think it's making it too big for. But we'll go back to. Let's reload this. Well, that just makes everything go away. Let's see if there's anything else I. Let's see here. Okay, let's. 3 gaps. 20. 20. Okay. And let's get back to doing those custom values because I wanted to show you something. Let's do 1FR, 1FR. UFR. Okay, we have these down here now. We have the align items and justify items. Or justify content is what I'm looking for. Because right now it's set up to go to the start. So nothing happens there, but we can go to middle. Now let's make this last one 1FR. So we want to make trying to think of let's do the 300 pixel one, but I want something that's not going to take up space. If I'm on the right track here. Okay. So if we go to say there's the beginning, there's the middle, there's the end, space between, space around, space evenly. But that only shows up, I believe, when we use these custom values. So let's go back to FRs. Get rid of this. And back to FRs. So, okay. So those are all the high points of how you work with the grid and the columns and the rows. There seems like there ought to be a way, and it doesn't look like it wants to do it. And Sharon, if you know better, or Oscar, or anybody, about controlling these separately or simultaneously, or is it your understanding that you can only do columns or rows setting them? I don't think so, but
yeah, so you basically decide whether you're going to use Flexbox or the grid. The grid allows you to actually make a grid with equal border spacing and equal columns or rows, or even if you're trying to fix the flow. So that's why you have to decide if you're going to be doing columns as your direction or a row as your direction.
Yeah, okay. Sounds reasonable to me. Okay, so I'm just going to save this. And we're going to move on to another thing. So where am I? Let's get out of this. One of the things that I don't like is I haven't seen it. I don't see a place where you can just say view page.
Yeah, that's the icon to the eye.
That's preview.
Yeah, the eye. There you go. Preview.
That's preview. It's not like view page, and I must be missing something, but I don't find it anywhere.
Well, your preview allows you to go to whatever page you want to.
And that bar is missing the exit picture.
Say that again.
You cannot exit that from that top bar. You'll end up opening a new tab because there is no exit to all posts with the new top bar.
You can go back to edit. There you go.
Well, what I had been doing earlier was doing the finder and just going home, and then going back to where I wanted to be. Okay, so then we're going to do something like this, where we've got multiple and this is a little different from having
I would say
two
this layout
FRs.
is rows. I would say your layout here is rows.
Yep, and but it's not done with two FRs in the same way we saw before, so I'm going to edit with Elementor. And I'm going to put this down here so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. And then I'm going to add a container with CSS grid. And then I'm going to change it to a 3x3. And then I'm going to set the width to 1100 pixels. And container layout is grid. And auto flow is on row. So you're right, Sharon. Okay, so I'm going to add a call to action widget. And I'm going to make it a cover. I'll put an image in here. And I'm going to get rid of the button text, and I'm getting rid of the description. I just want the title. And let's go back to this United States Services. I make this. Change this. I'm going to take it to an H4. And then style box. And go to style, and we'll look at the box. And we're going to go left aligned, bottom aligned. And I'm going to put padding of rims. We'll put one down there, and I'm going to unlink and make these 0. I don't know why, and I haven't dug deep enough, but why, if you put one rim, this is certainly not the same as what's on the left, but I'm not going to belabor the point if this is right today. So, okay, so we got that. And let's see, what do we want as a hover effect? Let's do shrink. Am I doing that right? Well, we need that for the box. And we'll do, for hover.
Don't you want this content to be like 2 or 3 frames?
Yeah, but I'm gonna get it set up first.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Sorry.
Yeah. Then hover. Oh well. Let me it's interesting because I'm not getting the same options on the hover animation as I did earlier today. It was for content, not the box. Let's see, hover animation shrink. Oh, I see. Do both, so we can shrink and we can go hover animation, zoom in, like that. Okay, so what we want to do is to span this container across 2 columns, and we're going to do that with a little bit of CSS. So I'm going to select that container. I'm going to go to advanced. I'm going to go scroll down to custom CSS. And I'm going to add this little bit. of CSS to the this thing. Okay, now let's take a look at this. This is working with grid lines, not columns. So let's go back to the container for a second, and let's show we see the lines. Take away the gaps so that sure why there's gaps. Let's just see gaps 0. Okay. We can see there's no gaps between the grid containers or the container cells. And so we got 3 and 3 and 3, but the actual guideline, we have 4 lines, grid lines. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's what we're referencing. So what we're saying here, if we look at the CSS for this, let me go back to this. And for this custom CSS, it says grid column 1 to 3. So it's showing, it's going from grid line 1, 2 would be here, and this is 3, and this is 4. So it's going starting at 1, ending at 3. Is that making sense?
Yeah, to me.
Okay.
How if you make it instead of 1/3, you make it 2/3? Gonna put it in the middle?
Yep. Or you can take it to 2/4. Or you can take it 1 to 4. But we're going to go back to 1 to 3. Okay, so we've got that done. Then I'm going to add some content. Now notice we have 9 cells, but we're only can add to this. I'm going to so I'm going to go here and I'm going to add a text editor to this. And I'm going to switch over to another thing here for mobile. Here. This. Right there. Got an H3. And we're going to put in this container or this text editor, we're going to give 30 pixels padding. And then the container layout, if this is for the whole container, we're going to do align items center. And so that does that. So, okay, so we've done that. Then we're going to take this container. Now we've got this one and we've got this one. Now we can add to here. We can't add here, we can't add here, or any of these. This is the next one because it goes in a row flow. So we're going to add here container. And I'm going to add a container with a background. So I'm going to pick the background here. Let's see what it is. I use this one. Like that. But it's, you know, it's why is it, what's going on with this? Well, what we have to do, we have to go to container, advanced, and go to align self. And of course, this is to the top, to the middle, to the center, or to stretch. And then it stretches it. But let's go back to the container itself and styling. And our image, we're going to go center, center, so it kind of looks right. Okay, so now we did that. And we're going to take this and I'm going to copy it. And I'm going to paste that there. And then I'm going to put some new text here. And this is going to be educate. And we'll do this. And got that center right, copy container back. Okay. Let me see my thinking container 3. Okay. I'm going to take this container, copy, and I'm going to paste there. Swap out the picture. It's this young lady here. Okay, now I've got, and we're going to take another one of these text boxes. I was going on a stair step kind of deal. I'm going to take this, copy, I'm going to paste.
You duplicate it, would put it on the same place, right? Instead
Yeah,
of
well,
copy-
basically what I did was I just copied it and then pasted it there. And then
Okay.
I'm going to change the text. Oops, in the wrong place. And then I'm going to take this new text and drop it in. Okay. So now, let's see. Now I want to duplicate this kind of thing and put it here. Watch what happens. Copy. I'm going to paste it. Oh, wait a minute. What's wrong? How come it didn't go here? Wonder why. Well, let's take a look at it. Because if we take a look at the CSS for this, with advanced CSS,
It's from 1 to 3 and not from 2 to 4.
exactly. So if we do this, you see, this is the next available one. Because that's 1. This is the next available one, but 2 is available because 2 of 4 is available. Oscar gets a gold star. Okay, so let's swap out. Let's make that a little different. Pick that, and we'll say style, and we will. Where's my picture? There we go. Okay, let's see. What do we use? We use this one. And let's go to content, and this is 10th grade services. Grade services. And we can make it a link if we'd like. It can link to something. That's not the right place. It's the maybe oh, that's for the button. Content, link. Well, I know there's a way to link the whole box, but I can't remember what it is now. So anyway, so we updated this, and this is what we've got. Now, one of the things that kind of it seemed like I would like to see to be able to do would be able to make this these back have a colored background. It might be able to do that by taking the container and giving it some kind of background, but you wouldn't want to make it too dark. Let's see, I haven't tried this. Let's see what happens. A little bit. But I think, let's see here what happens. It takes the whole deal, so that's not helpful. We'll come here and we will clear that. So, okay, so we've got this, and going to publish. Okay, so we're now back to where we were. And now we're going to go to this, which is very similar, except the content that was in these containers is now going to be a loop grid. So we'll edit that. And I'm going to cheat a little bit here. I'm going to take this, copy it, then I'm going to go to here, and I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to paste the other one. Okay. So now let's look at, well, one thing we forgot, or I forgot to check on here was the mobile. Watch what happens on mobile. Ooh, that's ugly. We have to make a little bit of an adjustment to our CSS. So what we have to do is on this little booger, go to the CSS. We have to put it like a media query in it. Okay. So basically what that's saying is everything above 780 pixels will do what we're seeing here. But if it gets below that, then it will go back to just default behavior. So let's see if that works. Let's see here. That media screen. Publish. Okay. So this is one of those things that was making this is I saw that it had inconsistent behavior. Go back to CSS. looking at from a different place. Well, it beats the crap out of me. Worked fine earlier.
How do you want it to look on the mobile?
Let's see what it's supposed to go back to just grids, you know, like like uh, like a checkerboard. I mean, except it's going to be just blocks in a column.
Harry, do you need to maybe clear the cache or something?
Well, I had refreshed it. Let me publish this. And could very well be. Although I'm not sure that that's going to help. Let's reload it. Nope.
Click on the container and let me see it. Click on the container and let me see the first tab, the content tab, please. That is a call to action, not the container.
Well, there is no real container. I mean,
It's
the
not.
whole thing is the container.
Okay, yeah, click on the 6 dots. And where's the columns? What if you change the number of columns for the mobile and for the mobile? Instead of making it 3, make it 2. For mobile.
Well, you could do that, I guess. Although it's wanting to go to 1. But it's I don't know. So it worked. I did this 3 times today and it worked, and I don't know why it's not.
It is designed to work only 3 times.
It's
And
the
you use them
Zoom.
all.
Sorry?
I was saying it's the Zoom bug.
No, I don't. Well, it could be, but I don't think so. Since what there should be 2 for I don't know. Well, I need to move on. Well, I figure out what the issue was. It's interesting too for each easy access. Sorry. What am I editing over here? Okay. Got it. Pages. Which one is this? This one custom. Okay. So we're going to edit this with Elementor. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete these items, and then we're going to put in the loop grid post. So we're going to delete the container, delete, and then I'm going to delete this. Okay, so we want this to be down underneath here, so we can put our four. We want this to be under here, and then we want these four. Can't really see them, but four grid squares to contain our loop grid. So what can we do to this well, let's try some CSS. Okay, so this is going from 1 to 2. So now we want to put the loop grid in here, but that's not available right now, but we'll put it in here. So, and then we'll get it positioned. And I'm going to search widgets, loop grid, and I'm going to pick Elementor, loop demo, and this kind of blows things out for a sec. And 2 columns. I want it to be 2 columns, and I want 4 items. Okay, and I'm going to say under layout for masonry, show whole post, add this, and I'm going to add some CSS for this too. And you'll see here, Oscar, this will have information about columns and rows.
Sorry, this will what?
Look, see what we've got here? It's got the selector, it's grid column. It's up and down.
Oh, okay, yeah.
2 to 4. Grid row, line 2. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And so that's how that. So that builds that out. And let's publish. Let's see. And let's see if we can make this one work again. I'm going to take this, copy it, put it over here. Let's see if this will work. I don't remember if I looked at this on mobile or not, but we'll see. See, that worked. I don't know why the other one wasn't working. And one of the things I've seen is this weird kind of different spacing. See, this is taller and this is not, and it's not clear to me why that's the case, but we want to take this container, we can make it bigger. Easy enough. And that only applies to mobile.
Yeah, you have to do it one by one.
Well, these are all this is part of the template. If we go over here, these down here are part of the template.
Right.
But and let's see, there's a couple other things I wanted to
Oh,
do.
wait a second. Go back to mobile, please, Kerry,
Okay.
and scroll down slow. Okay. See, you have the loop in between the other two columns. So the on the top. Oh no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I was wrong.
Yeah,
No, it's okay. I'm sorry.
no problem.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. All righty. And so let's publish this. And Sharon, if you're still here, or Oscar, or anybody, have y'all seen anywhere where because I can't believe you, there's not something in some of these settings to say view page. It may be just an oversight.
Oh, that I is allow you to view the page.
It's preview. You see, it's not the page, it's a preview.
Oh, it's a preview.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Carrie, I just installed mine today, so I haven't experimented with that. And
So if you find out, just drop me a note, and I just can't imagine there's not, because I mean there's a theme builder history. You can go to the manage website, that takes you to the back end.
Yeah, but on a new tab.
Yeah, and this
that adds it.
has
Right,
elements, and this is the site settings. And don't see anything there, and then this is the navigator. And this would be, if you had the pages, this might be the way you're supposed to do it. It's not the best idea, because you could just, well, you wouldn't be going into the front end, you'd be in the back, you'd open it up in the editor in the back end. Then we've got the page settings, the mobile. So this is the only thing I've seen that is kind of a way to kind of get you back on the front end. So
As soon as that top bar came out, I installed it on day one, and on day 1.1, I uninstalled it
okay,
because
There's
it's
no-
a lot of things.
there's a lesson in there somewhere.
That's funny, Oscar.
One thing I neglected to mention at the very beginning is what. Let's go back to our dashboard.
But apparently, your version, by the way,
Turn
apparently,
all that on. You have to turn it on, don't you, Carrie?
What's that?
You have to turn it all on in your settings.
Yeah, I wanted to go in and talk about the settings. I meant to do that at the very beginning, but I guess I was so
Apparently,
excited to do this that I didn't. We need to go to features, and we want to make sure the Flexbox container is active, and it's also a green little thing here is a giveaway on it being active. We want the grid container active, have the editor top bar active, but maybe I won't in the future. Nested elements is good. And then since we, I don't think the loop is part of this. There it is. Yep. And we want the loop in there because we used it for that demo.
Regarding the top bar, Kerry,
Yes, sir.
the upcoming version 3.14 apparently is going to have many things fixed for the top bar.
It's going to have what?
Many things fixed.
Oh, gotcha.
Top bar,
Okay.
like
So
the preview page, like it has no exit to dashboard option.
yeah. Okay.
The way to exit the dashboard is by, I don't remember what's the feature, but it opens a new tab.
Well, the top bar is relatively new for them, so they haven't concentrated a lot on it.
Yeah.
So
well,
adding
that's-
features as each release comes out.
Right. Okay. Well, that's good to know, Oster. Aside from having those things selected, I mentioned this, I think, last month. There's some things, just to mention about for improving your speed. You probably want to activate, and if anybody's had issues with this, let me know. Activate optimized DOM output, improved asset loading, improved CSS loading. Those will help a little bit. And one thing that I don't know why this never occurred to me. Of course, we do things so long that we don't even think about what we're doing. But in the settings, and somebody speak up if there's a reason that you don't want to do this. I've gone in and changed all these to 0. Because when you add something to the media library, as I understand it, WordPress is going to create 3 extra versions of that image. And if you have a site with a lot of images, your database is just going to get loaded up with images and image records. And you can see if a site is around for a number of years, and particularly if it's a very active blog, or if it's a WooCommerce site with hundreds of products, you could just get overloaded. So is there any reason that y'all can think of that you wouldn't want to do this? Because I usually make my images sizes custom.
I personally, the thumb size, I raise it to 200. Max with medium is, I think I put it in 400, and large in 1024. Because I personally use them, and many times that I need to show the image small, I just use this thumb size. What I do is the images I load are on 300 dpi. So if it's a small image, you can still enlarge it, and it will not pixelate that much than if you have it at 72.
Yeah.
But I never thought about putting a 0.
It's
Avoid.
something to think about. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, we talked about it last time, is about WebP fonts, not fonts, photos.
Okay, I use them.
Yeah, that if you don't, now the latest versions of Photoshop, you can save things as WebP images. I guess it kind of depends on your machine if it can take the latest version of Photoshop, but you can save things as WebP, but you can also I showed this website last time or the time before. There's a tool called bulk resize photos. You can just take an image and drop it on there like a ping or a JPEG, and it will convert it to a WebP image. So encourage y'all to use WebP images. So
Totally agree with you. Those are very good. That's a very nice format. To send.
yeah, and it
And Carrie, I want to add one more thing to your media settings.
okay.
If you uncheck the box where it says organize my uploads into month and year based folders,
Okay.
if you uncheck it, that will improve your performance, because what it will do, instead of using all those folders, which makes your calls to your server every time it has to load a folder, it puts them all in one folder, puts them all underneath the all your images up to WP content uploads directory, instead of making all those subdirectories.
Yep.
Good to know. All righty. That might be worth the night.
I do that. Oh,
So anyway, that's kind of a tripping through the CSS grid. If I figure out why that mobile stuff wasn't working the way it had earlier, and then did when we went to this particular page, I'll let you know. But I don't know why the other one didn't work, because I used pretty much the same code. But anyway, that is that. Anybody have any? Let me stop sharing. Anybody have any questions? I guess there's just
I have a question, but it's not regarding this.
okay.
About the website that I'm struggling with right now. But I don't know if you guys, I mean, after you finish, whoever wants to say it's okay. But I'm gonna need some help.
What are you struggling with, Oscar?
Um,
I'm gonna stop the recording and then you can go
okay.
because it's not really related to this. Alrighty, we'll just say thank you everybody, and we'll see you next time.